Back when I spent a lot more time in my car, I wanted a small keyboard for the confined space. I was working on my very first novel, and so dedicated a lot of time to thinking about and writing it in the car while I was sitting doing nothing. I didn't have a ton of room in my car for a laptop, but what I had was a smartphone, a vent clip, and a dream for a Bluetooth keyboard that would not suck. After some researching and buying of other options that I will discuss later, I found what quickly became one of my favorite keyboards, the Logitech K380. I was so happy with it, I've purchased others, and there are several that I want that I cannot find anywhere. Let's talk about two of the defining features of this keyboard. Number one, its size. This is a rather small keyboard. It is supposed to be reminiscent of a laptop keyboard. Very small, even both my hands doesn't necessarily fit on the keyboard, but it is a great keyboard nonetheless. The keys are round, which takes some getting used to, but I love the fact that the keys have such a low travel distance. Obviously, when you press these keys, since it is a membrane keyboard, they don't go very far. I did a few typing tests and it felt like my speed had improved. However, my data did not show that. I just suck at typing. The MSRP for this device is around $40. I've seen them anywhere from $40, I've seen some as low as $20, and I've seen some as high as $120. Why? I don't know, some people are jerks. It is compatible with Chrome OS, Mac OS, Windows, iOS, Apple, iPad OS, and Android. I use it primarily on my iPad and Samsung phones, but occasionally I will put it on a Windows machine as well. Let's talk about specs. The height at its tallest point, which would be right here in the back, is so this is the height of the keyboard. How Logitech displays this. This is the height of the keyboard from the bottom to the top. That is 4.8 inches or 124 millimeters. The width from corner to corner is 10.98 inches, which is 279 millimeters, and the depth from the top of the keyboard to the bottom of the keyboard is 0.63 inches, a mere 16 millimeters. Not very big at all. It is a small keyboard weighing only 423 grams or 14.92 ounces with the batteries. The connection type is Bluetooth Classic, so it's 3.0. The batteries are two AAA batteries. The battery life on this is reported to be 24 months. Now, I've had this keyboard since before COVID. I've not had to swap the batteries out for this yet. Granted, it's not the only keyboard I use. I do use it frequently, but not all the time. Since there are no lights or screens or anything to take up juice, all the juice is being used for the batteries. Now, of course, you do have a little rocker switch on the side here, which is to turn on your Bluetooth keyboard, and you can see there's a little light right there. And then of course the light for the connections right there, there, and there. And those are the primary lights that you have. You have no caps lock, no num lock, nothing like that. That's the Bluetooth and indicator lights, which of course is noted here at the top and on the side. Sometimes swapping from one device to the next takes a little bit longer than anticipated, but here's the thing, this $40 keyboard still performs better than the Razer Pro Type keyboard, which does swap between devices, but sometimes is a little slow, a little lackluster on it. There's a small amount of deck flex since the primary construction of this device is plastic. And you can see here, I can kind of twist it and bend it and do all kinds of stuff. Now, obviously you're not gonna treat a keyboard like that, but just to give you a little bit of an idea. The keys offer little in terms of acoustics. They sound mushy and plain, but sometimes that's a nice change. Late at night when somebody's sleeping, the last thing you want to do is be hammering away at a keyboard that could wake the dead. This one is not going to do that. The ugly. If you are not a fan of round keys or membrane keys, this might not be for you. You can think of this much like a laptop keyboard. It's similar in size and features, and it types like one. I had one issue with Android on my Samsung S7, which I did use primarily as my primary writing device for a while. The cursor would jump around and I would be inserting words as I typed throughout random places. There was no solution for this. I just had to stop using the keyboard on the S7. I did software updates, I changed apps, none of it worked. So if you have any ideas of why this happened, let me know. Final thoughts. I love this keyboard for what it is. A cheap, multi-device Bluetooth keyboard with very few frills. This is a workhorse keyboard and I use it as a daily driver on my mobile setup when I go out and write. I have 2 of close to the 10 variations that exist in the wild and hope to one day find berry, orange, and rose in my collection. Lastly, and this is a comment because I've seen the variations in price of these, don't pay more than $40 for this keyboard. That's MSRP. There's a lot of sellers on eBay who are overcharging, and that's simply not necessary. While this is a great keyboard, I'm not spending more than $40 on it. Okay, so let's do some sound tests. Forgot to mention this is the back of the keyboard. As you can see, there are 4 rubber non-sliding feet that you can find here. Right down here is the K380, which says which keyboard it is. This is very common on Logitech products. They usually say K380, K400, K4 whatever plus. You can see that right here. This is the battery case. Battery slots open fairly easily. Here's your AAA batteries that work fantastic. Love this keyboard. It's one of my personal favorites. And like I mentioned, there's a couple of different colors that I want that I can't seem to find anywhere because eBay. But anyway. Sync. Put it on a keyboard. Well, that's not right.